So, Andy, it's great to have you back. How does it feel to have that contract all signed and the deal done?
Yeah, delighted. It was what I always wanted to do. It wasn't quite the end of the season I wanted, so I wasn't sure what the summer was going to bring. But yeah, I've had good conversations with the gaffer, and it's nice to get it all sorted and commit myself to another year where I want to be. So yeah, I'm absolutely delighted.
You mentioned Paul there, someone you know particularly well. What's he said to you in regards to the next season?
Yeah, I think I find it a bit tricky. Sort of the homecoming I had in my mind over the last few years probably hasn't quite panned out. The first year I had the injury in the first half of the season and came back strong, and then the second season I was fully expecting us to kick on and myself too, and go and get the promotion that we all wanted, and for me to be a prominent part of that, and it didn't quite transpire. Obviously, we just missed out on the playoffs on the final day, and yeah, my sort of second half of the season wasn't quite as strong as the first half maybe. Although, you know, I think at the time I find it frustrating not getting regular game time and not getting a bit of a momentum building. But at the same time, I think that wasn't just it's as much of a me issue as it was a thing between me and the gaffer. I think because I think I've got to understand at my age, you know, that there has got to be a bit more give and take. And so yeah, we had good conversations about that really, about a bit of give and take. I think the gaffer understanding where I'm coming from as well, and sometimes, you know, why I feel the way I do. And you know, I think with 10 goals and 17 starts, I felt like I maybe could have seen the pitch a bit more, and I think he respected that. But at the same time, I had to respect, you know, I've got to take my age into consideration at the moment, and although it hasn't actually affected me physically, I don't believe, it is something that everyone considers. So I've got to understand that a little bit more as well, and hopefully, you know, I don't think the gaffer could disagree with the fact I was still a positive person around the place, and that's why he was really keen to get me to stay for another year. You know, I think I can have a lot to offer on and off the pitch to the group, and I'm hoping I can go and do that again, and we can maybe take one step further this year.
Yeah, you mentioned that your experience is something vital to this squad. You've had a number of promotions throughout your time. How do you want to bring that through to next season?
Yeah, that's something, especially in the latter part of my sort of professional career, I could see why we were getting the promotions that we were getting as well, which was something that I definitely felt like I've been able to bring a little bit more as I got more comfortable in the group. It's always different. Always moving clubs is different, let alone moving from full-time to part-time football. There had to be a little bit of an understanding from lads that have come from only part-time to the position that we're in, because it's a strange club at times, although I think the fan base is more than professional enough, and a lot of what we've got going on is sort of a professional club, but obviously we are still technically part-time, so it's just trying to get that balance of an understanding of what to expect from the group and how much to put on them, and not to make it, you know, too hard at times, but then at the other times make sure that everyone is still, you know, right at the level we need to be at in terms of our standards that off the pitch that help produce the performances on it.
And I'm sure everyone would have been gutted to miss out on those playoff places. I'm sure you and the rest of the squad really want to go one better this year.
Yeah, massively. It was a really horrible end to the season, to be honest. I mean, the group's so close. We were distraught really in the dressing room afterwards. You know, the last home game of the season is usually a bit of a celebration, and it really wasn't. It couldn't have been further from it. And just to show how close the group is, I think we met up twice more after the season finished. Once with the gaffer and once as just a few of us, and there was still that sort of underlying sad, you know, disappointment in amongst ourselves, which hopefully we can use that disappointment to drive us on for this season. Obviously, now that we've got a core of the group still together, and hopefully we can add some more quality to that and enough to get us over the line.
And I'm sure you'll want to give those fans that turn up to registrate on a Saturday that positive end to the season.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was the hardest bit for me. obviously I know friends, family, all sorts that are in the crowd, and it's the biggest pool for bringing players to Hereford, but also for me personally, it's where I'm from, so it's the biggest pool of all. And I've got two young boys now who are pretty safe to say are Hereford fans. They were as excited as me when I re-signed. They've fallen in love with the place like I did when I was a little boy. So it's so nice to have that, but at the same time, you don't want to then disappoint them like we sort of did on the final day. So I think the main thing is just everyone to remain with the positivity as much as we can. It's really hard to do so at hard points of the season, but you can see no matter what people will have said at different stages of the season, we came really close again. And it doesn't matter whether you're full-time or part-time. I think both Tamworth and Brackley have made that clear. So it's just about sticking together and that number of fans that we've got if we can get, the majority of them, you're never going to make everyone, but if we can make the majority of them, stick together, stick with us and be positive for us, especially at the times in games where we're maybe not winning or parts of the season where we're on a bad run, if they can really get behind us, it's another player, it's another sort of weapon to our armoury that could help us get promoted. So, yeah, hopefully we can all pull through for this season and come the end of it, we can all have a big celebration together for the right reasons.
And just finally, this will be your third season with Hereford FC. Do you have a standout moment from the past two seasons?
Yeah, it's hard. I really enjoyed my first game back proper, really, against Gloucester at the end last my first season and getting a few goals against them. And then last season we had I think Brackley at home where I got a couple of goals in front of the Meadow End and helped us win that game. And there's a few last minute winners in front of the Meadow End that stand out, I think, in my own mind. And then they're probably the best moments for me so far. I mean, I feel like my first few goals since arriving back a couple of years ago all seem to be at the other end or away from home. So yeah, sort of the winners or the goals that have actually contributed to a match win at home have been really good. I think South Shield opening day as well. That was an amazing day. Sun was shining, all my family were there, and to win 3-0 and get a goal on that day, that was probably one of the best so far.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for your time, and we'll see you out on the field next season.
That's brilliant. Thank you.